Before we move on from boxing talk, I want to ask you one question. I was watching an interview recently Teofimo Lopez was doing with Ring Magazine, and in the conversation, he said he would love to see for select fights, undisputed fights, to bring back 15 rounds again. Now, obviously, there's many reasons why boxing has done away with 15-round fights, hasn't had one since the late 1980s. But when you listen to that, what's your immediate thoughts and your reaction to potentially bringing back 15-round fights for super fights or undisputed fights?
Bring it, baby. Bring it. Bring it. Bring it. You're talking about stuff that's, come on. I got brought up in boxing with Customato, with watching, watching tape of Henry Armstrong, the homicide Hank, who just, they wouldn't even, the computer thing would burn up. You'd see smoke at ringside if they were trying to keep a punch stat on Homicide Hank, on Henry Armstrong nowadays. He threw so many damn punches. They could never again that thing whatever they use to hit the clicker,
Yeah,
that video game thing,
CompuBox remote. Yeah.
CompuBox thing, that it would blow up. It would go on fire. They need a fire extinguisher at ringside to put the flames out. So, those guys went 20-round fights. They went, you go back to one of my favorite fighters, Sam Langford, which most of you never heard of, back in the early 1900s. He fought 40-round fights. So I just think that it does, look, 12 is great, but if you want what used to be known as the championship rounds, that was from the 12th to the 15th. That was the championship rounds. If you could go 10, you can make 12. But going from 10 to 15, that, that, my friend, that could be an ocean. That's not a canal. That's not a river. That's not a stream. That could be an ocean to go that psychologically and physically to be able to go that. So it separates people. It does. I don't want to say the men from the boys because they're all men. They're all men. I get it. But there are certain guys where that is the difference. That is the equalizer, where they couldn't get certain things genetically. You got what you got from your parents. But the other things you can get, that you can get. You can go out there and you can make yourself more determined, more disciplined, better condition, harder, just harder, mentally. You can go out there no matter what your genetics, no matter who your parents were. You can find those things, those attributes, and you can employ them, I should say. You can bring them into yourself if you're willing to go out there and work hard enough and look and understand that those things are available if you're willing to pay the price to get them, the price to just the price to improve yourself from those things, going out there and finding, where you can, the guy's faster, the guy's, slicker, the guy has, you're never going to catch up in those kind of physical, pure talent areas, but you can slow them down with pressure, with body work, with certain other things, and you need more time to do that. I say, give that guy that might not have been born with those kind of pure, born, God-given talents. Give him a little more time to see if he can equal or if he can level the playing field a little bit. I just like to see the guy that sometimes when a fight's over with, you walk away saying, man, if that guy had a couple more rounds, I know the other guy was a little bit better in the areas I'm talking about, but if he had a couple more rounds, wow, I would have liked to see how that guy is going to behave. 15 rounds gives you a portal into a man's soul. It shows you how they're going to behave when not everybody can behave good when they're taken to those kind of places.
Yeah, that beautifully said. I would love to see it for those reasons, and then the fights, kind of to that point, right? That are inconclusive to some people. Better be even Beevil. What does that look like if it's 3 more rounds? Do we get the conclusive ending and finish? It would be interesting. I think on the opposite side of it
To
is
your point, you might not need to judge. Then you might remove a lot of that controversial stuff where you
exactly.
fans out there, you fans, I love you know that, but you fans out there, you're complaining, oh, bad decision. And me too, where I'm always having to go nuts on these judges. You wouldn't hear me going nuts as much because it would take care of itself. Those extra 3 rounds would probably remove the need for those judges, or at least make it where they couldn't screw it up, where they make it so clear where that a lot of these bad decisions would go away.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess on the flip side of it, to touch on it before moving on, is, you know, by the risks, right? From a health standpoint of adding these extra rounds from 12 round fights to now 15. And how does that weigh in with the decision factor? But on the flip side of that, I would say that we need to stop adding 2 more rounds for all these belts and regionals. Why are they easily going from 10 rounds to 12 rounds? Why does it not matter then?
I knew I raised a smart boy. I knew. See that, Richie? See that? I knew I raised. I sent him to college. You know, always told him do good in school. Listen to your father. You might learn something. He's a smart boy. Smart boy. Good boy.